I'm going to talk to you about making the invisible visible. What am I talking about? Well, really, at the Henka Institute, I get asked, what do you need to coach most on with leaders? And it's all around emotional self-regulation. Emotional self-regulation. We saw that with Will Smith recently at the Oscar Awards, where he didn't have any emotional self-regulation and it was quite a disastrous outcome. So let me put this into a diagram for you very quickly. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about making the invisible visible, which is everything that happens between the trigger and the behavior. And all of that can happen in the blink of an eye. And Viktor Frankl, he was very clever. He was a sort of Austrian neurologist and a psychologist. And he says that between stimulus and response, so between the trigger and the response to your behavior, there's a space, this space here. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. And that's what we do at the Henka Institute in terms of helping people find their growth, leaders find their growth and their freedom. And there's a very simple way of doing that. And it's 5 steps. Very simple. Be aware, name it, accept it, do nothing, and then decide. Those are the 5 steps to emotional self-regulation that we work on. Now, a lot of us think that our emotions, they always come first. Sometimes we think it's our thinking. It isn't. It's our emotions that come first, then our thinking, then the desired outcomes. So be aware of the emotion. And that's just energy and motion inside of you. Name it. Give it a name, a derogatory name. Maybe it's that sort of, the saboteur of avoidance. And it's that annoying avoiding saboteur that's coming up again. Or emotion, negative emotion. And then accept it. Accept that it's just an emotion that's going through you. Energy in motion. There's nothing to it. It's not about, you want to shift your attention from the emotion to the identification with the emotion, right? So when you're examining the underlying emotion, you're separating yourself from it. That's mindfulness. And that's what this is all about. And you pull the rug from underneath it. So you separate yourself. You're not the emotion. The emotion is something separate. And you can swirl it into a different room in the house in your mind. That's the acceptance piece. That's the most difficult piece. The 4th piece is then do nothing. I mean, sit in your hands, count to 10, recite the alphabet, do whatever. Just do nothing. Give your time for the thinking brain to catch up with the emotional brain so that you can have a balanced, rational, emotional decision on the way forward. Remember, we're emotional animals. Emotions come first, then the thinking, then desired outcomes. And then finally, the 5th step is decide. What are you going to do? Move it forward. So there you have it. I mean, by the way, thinking without emotion is not healthy either. I mean, we do need some emotion. That's another way of saying we need some passion in the way in which we show up and in which we make our decisions. So those are the 5 steps that we work in terms of mindfulness. Be aware, name it, accept it, do nothing, and then decide.